get into things as we are live in the 2v2 show match. I am casting for the first time as a team in the south. It's Noggano and Hooligan as the allies, and we've split one of the best teams up. Who's in the north there, Dan?
Rifle squad ready for action.
In the north, in the purple trunks, you've got the other half in gold path 2, that is Scotch, and he's going to be playing with Talisman, also as Austere. Both factions as Austere, and I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. That was the thing I was like, eh?
Before we went live, I gave Stormless, or Dan, the opportunity to say who do you think is going to win based on this new synergy we've created by splitting the teams up. And he said, okay, Scotch and Talisman straight away. Now, Dan, do you rescind that a little bit?
Okay,
that sounds like a little bit of a step down.
I think Austere is a perfectly
It's a little bit of a step down, though, isn't it? Because OKW would be argued sometimes as stronger, or the synergy between Austere and OKW together is definitely strong. Seen double... I keep saying Austere, but it's both called either Austere or Wehrmacht, depending on if you're the community or the developer, it would seem. But the Wehrmacht, two of them together, Scotch and Talisman as the north, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's just talk about the allies and where their strengths lie. We've got the USF here, which is a great early game faction, very good backbone of their army, the infantry rifleman it's such a great unit, very high cost, but certainly great DPS done.
They do have DPS. The one thing I think is going to be really nice at the start of this game, British, Noggano playing the Brits on the right-hand side. They're a faction that has a lot of staying power, right? They've been able to heal themselves on the field early on efficiently, and they're hard to dislodge. Fortunately, Scotch and Talisman are both playing support weapon factions, which will be bringing out mortars. I think we're seeing that right now from Scotch, which will be the start of pushing Noggano away. But Brits can be very hard to shake off of a map. They're designed to
That's right. Usually the allies are a little bit better in the early and mid game, and the Axis come into their strengths. This has been the classic kind of staple, come into their strengths in the late game thanks to their heavy panzers. But the Brits take a little bit of a different tack. They're very much Wehrmacht-esque in that they also have very heavy tanks to bring on later, and they have very powerful infantry. Let's talk about another dynamic, Dan, the sniper, and it's a very high priority glass cannon unit, and it's lingering in the background there.
Yeah, Sniper's a great one. Sniper is a unit in this game which is very fragile, and of course it's one shot, one kill. It's very good at weakening squads, making engagements better for your own infantry as you're fighting. Good against support weapons, and of course it just bleeds. It makes your opponent reinforce constantly. And that can be very, very difficult as you're trying to build units and reinforce units, having that constant manpower drains. So it's a threatening unit, and it's always a high priority.
The emphasis is immediately off as much as other RTS's resources, but it is literally everything still. Everything depends on your economy, the efficiencies. It's just not as aesthetically obvious, but underneath this incredible aesthetic engine, it is an RTS thoroughbred at heart, and it's all about efficiency. You can get this sniper firing. It's about to take its first shot now. There you go. Takes a shot off one of the infantry section, the Tommies. They're going to have to retreat back to base now. And that's another thing. It's also a tactical advantage to force a retreat.
Cherry infantry firing at us. Cheeky buggers.
Yeah, good play there.
Trying to take one of our points.
Noggano, as he's usually and always doing, he's not really building anything at the moment. You see him stacking those resources. He just likes to give himself the option to always build whatever he needs. And he doesn't feel like he needs much at the moment, but he's going to go for some engineers. Maybe we'll see him build emplacements. And Brits are certainly the faction that is hot on emplacements. And that goes to show, I mean, like the variety of factional gameplay in Code 2 and Code 1. All factions proficient at different things.
Yeah, they are the best at staying still and standing still and building things that help them do that. Here's a Panzerfaust for you. A fist through iron from the Grenadiers, forcing something made pretty much damn near fully of the stuff, the Universal Carrier, away. Grenadiers going to have to try and get really close for another Faust, but they nearly diced with death there, as a one-man squad with very little health has to retreat all the way back to base using an algorithm. He's now out of the player's control.
We have been granted access to superior arms and
It was definitely worth a go, but didn't really have the health or the models to continue chasing the Universal Carrier down. Let's have a look at what's going on at the moment. So we've got the scout car. Scotch has just brought that on the field. That's going to be up against Noggano's AEC. Hooligan, who's tech to lieutenant, still doesn't have anything from USF on the field, but we're slowly starting to see map control go in favor of Scotch and Talisman, and if Talisman can just get those Grenadiers actually capping the fuel,
just
then,
about getting in the
we may
circle,
see a
as
good
Dan said it there.
resource
They were
lead,
probably just on the edge for a moment, and it was all about getting there. Thank you, Angel, moderating in chat and making that straw poll. Please vote. I do want to hear who you think will win out of the Gold Path 2 team, who have been split up. AEC is out now, 75mm armoured car, working in unison with this Vickers mounted universal carrier. Some great historical World War II tech for you armoured fighting nerds out there. Not that you're armoured fighting nerds, but you like nerdy stuff. It's a very difficult sentence to deliver, never mind.
I really, really like this, by the way. I just want to point out, so GB Hooligan working with Noggano here. You know, when that fuel gets decapped, there's a big push for how to take this back. Noggano's gone straight up to the fuel, and you saw all the infantry rush through the center trying to catch retreating models as they fell back from the fuel point. At the same time, Hooligan's going to the fuel on the left-hand side, whilst Axis was pulled over. So there's a lot of kind of map strategy going on right now, and Noggano and Hooligan have actually really won this in a very, very good way. They turned a bad situation into what is going to be double fuel resource.
And that means that this poll is now automatically out of date. It was commissioned just before that big pushback. And now that the situation tactically has changed, we've had a huge resource cap from Hooligan in the west, and we've had a great tactical win in the southeast, so it's all happening. Veteran ability there, Dan, the incendiary rounds from the MG42. Yeah. It's one of those cool things about coming Heroes 2. You do get those abilities when you gain veterancy.
Our industry grows to support us.
Yep, I mean, the game is all about veterancy. You've got to keep those units alive. They're much better as they scale up, as you equip them. And, of course, it's a big thing when you lose a squad or you lose models. The incendiary rounds are definitely something that can result in that.
And Grenadiers doing a good job of pushing away those cowardly Americans as they recoil in terror. Let's have a little check on the graphs. There are inbuilt game statistics. Those things that Relic added to the game many years after it came out. It's pretty cool. It's looking damn even out there. I mean, this is your allied team. And the Axis team are lagging behind ever so slightly in terms of army value. Resources points held. It is a fluctuating situation that is ebbing and flowing. That's what
Shouldn't resist getting money into. Tier 3 goes up for Talisman there. That was in the process not long ago, so he is going to be looking at bringing medium armor on the field. I wonder if that means then that Scotch is biding his time with a heavy tier 1, tier 2 loadout going into tier 4. This is a specific strategy for us, which I love seeing. But it does mean that they have to secure resources for a while before they start getting those.
Push in from the Tommies. They've heard the whistle of their lieutenants, and they're going for it. Those brave boys from Blighty. And they're doing a pretty good job. They're circumventing these Grenadiers. They force them out of the garrison thanks to the great work of the American player, Hooligan, in the south. Meanwhile, the Axis are rampaging in the north, though. They've got the Pack 40, the MG42, the 222 scout car, all working in unison. Great combined arm tactics here.
It is, and we see great synergy from Noggano and Hooligan. Noggano is taking the British infantry to green cover points in the middle of the map, and he's staying there. He's using their great defensive sticking power, and then he's allowing Hooligan to just clear up the back end of the map and then come in for support. And they're slowly pushing Axis further and further. And
synergy is such a great word. It's overused at times, but it's the only word that can describe what we're seeing from our southern allied players, as they are battled through early game Axis dominance and they're now doing extremely well for themselves. Aggressive play, though, could be punished by Noggano. He's going to have to get out of there.
Emplacement destroyed by the enemy.
Well, the map is just going back and forth constantly. It's a really good game for that. It actually puts them down as kind of two even teams in this sense. It becomes a little convoluted when neither team has had resource control for a while, because then, you know, it's harder and harder to tell who is in the lead for resources and who can make those kind of pushes for earlier, bringing units on earlier in the game. And yeah, it's interesting for that. We'll wonder if this is going to stunt Scotch's strategy if he is pushing for tier 4 and denying the fuel resource.
If you're one of the few people that hasn't bought or played Company Heroes 2.5, as I'm calling it, it is very much somewhat of a semi-sequel. The amount of work they've done on this game over the years and modern technology such as the GTX 1080 I've got in my rig here make it look spectacular. I mean, Dan can speak from his experience. It is a very good-looking game, isn't it?
It's a really, really good-looking game, and getting the 1080 made all the difference with it. Actually, you didn't think it could get any better, and it did.
God,
step is 4K
I'll melt people's streams, it would seem. Pushing people, but the Axis have been pushed back quite significantly at the moment, Dan, on the strategic front right here.
They have. Oh, that was a great mortar on the right-hand side there. Actually takes the Grenadier squad down. They pick up the LMG. Another great mechanic, by the way, from Company Heroes 2 is that your upgraded weapons on your infantry can be dropped and reclaimed by your opponents. So it's one of the great ways of tipping this game. You can steal your opponent's engines, their mortars, their weapons even, and turn them against them with a devastating effect. So a nice little.
There we go. And we've got the Grenadiers here doing very difficult. I can see comments in chat requesting they want They want the Cold War scenario. If we've got time, we could always see it. What you're hoping for now, if you want to see some action like that, you want Noggano and Hooligan to rally and to keep their resurgence going, and they're doing a damn good job of it. What we're seeing from the teching standpoint on Allies, Dan, they surely should be taking advantage of this fuel income they've had.
Well, we're not going to see any teching really from Noggano. We know he likes to play with nothing. I was just going to point out the really interesting thing from Axis, though, is that both Scotch and Talisman have picked Jaeger armor, which means we could see double Elephant in the late game.
That'd be extremely interesting.
That would be
very rare to see Universal Carrier with 9 kills. It's done pretty well for itself, it must be said. Here comes the Browning automatic rifle-toting rifleman, who are getting minced. So as soon as the caster talks about something cool on the screen, it usually dies. It's known as the caster's curse.
And we can use that in a way to make the players we want to win.
We have a direct line to Relic HQ and the Beavers that are handing lottery balls to one another, which is also known as the RNG system. This sharpshooter has 15 kills, so he's more than paid for himself now. The unit costs 360 manpower, and it's eclipsed that, having attained 15, so not bad at all there by Talisman.
Dead Grenadier in the centre, good pickup from Scotch with a heavy tier 1 build. So many Grenadiers there, but still seemingly not able to push ground with them, just due to the fact that, again, Brits, they're just so strong in those positions. They've got the MG in that house. It's very, very difficult to throw that, and the mortars haven't been paying attention to kind of taking those buildings out of the game, taking those big positions for support weapons. So actually little needs to be done to push allies away. It just isn't
request for
being
tactical
done.
map, one of the hallmark features of Company Heroes. It momentarily made my PC spike, but there you go, there's it. And it's it's a sorry story for the Axis, if you're a fan there of the new team of Scotch and Talisman, because they are penned in, much like this Grenadiers, who could be going down very shortly. Lieutenant comes in with the Browning automatic, takes him out from max range. Huge pickup there. lot of the company heroes stalwarts in chat wondering why this stream has that many viewers. It is the Make War Not Love stream. It is hosted by Sega. It's an ongoing event where the viewers are passed on to the stream through the method of hosting, as glorious as it is. And if you're watching the host mode, you can always come and participate with the chat. They are friendly. If you've got any questions for the community about this game in particular, they'd be more than happy to answer you and probably be incredibly not salty and not toxic in the slightest. They're renowned for it. Really are the friendliest bunch of guys in the world. It's wonderful.
Had major artillery called off by Hooligan on the left side. Scotch didn't really care. He just kind of sat there and took it. Doesn't want to lose any control of fuel right now. It's really, really important that those players are focusing on getting their tech out. I don't think we're going to see double elephant because Scotch is actually going for that strategy of teching up to battle phase 3. So tier 4 units could potentially be coming out soon. It does obviously really, really rely to keep control of fuel on the left and hold enough VPs to...
it is a fantastic patchwork of tactical battles and engagements all over the battlefield that is Rails and Metal. So seen many a historic battle over the years in the Company Heroes series, but it's seeing one right now as we've seen Gold Path 2 split up for the very first time. So GP2 is our foremost competitive 2v2 team. They've been split up, unbeknownst to themselves. It was a complete surprise to them, and it seems that Noggano, the Russian, is having the better of it right now.
Just a double fuel cache from Talisman on the strategic points just outside of base. So Axis, you can see, really, really trying to pump up the fuel. And on the strategic points, of course, you can build other fuel or munitions caches just to pump that resource up a little bit more than you're getting as standard for map control. So it's kind of showing where their strategy is going. They want those late game units out quickly. And Talisman was surprised to bring out another Panzer IV. I really thought. Actually, no, I guess he's going to be. So we're only on 7.
I think the thing is with the Axis guys, they realise the fun nature of today's activities, and they're going for a double elephant strategy, a very less than seen strategy of trying to get 2 elephant tank destroyers out for the first time since 1943.
Great use of the manual fire function, the ground attack through the Jackson there. You see it trying to fire through the smoke that's being provided, and it's really good. We discussed this in the last game about really high-level play. It's one of the things that the pros tend to do. You know, when the guns aren't automatically targeting, they're manually targeting the guns, a lot of the vehicles. And
Hans, the sharpshooter, has 21 kills. Veterancy 2 sniper, blinking away with a plume of blood going up with that poor rear echelon, who's now going home in a matchbox for his family. Major leading by example here, taking back a victory point. It is a ticker scenario, much like many first-person shooter games like Domination or Conquest, Call of Duty, Battlefield respectively. Jackson, huge shot in against